Hi, my name's Jeff Clark, and I'm the APU Technical Support Manager for CDAviation Services located in Joplin, Missouri. Today, we're going to demonstrate how you perform a soap sampling on the 36 Series 100 and 150 Series APU. The model we have here in particular is the 150 series. However, if you have a 100, it's performed in the same manner. The first thing you want to do prior to performing a soap is you want to operate your APU for a minimum of 10 minutes. Get the oil heated up, get the oil to where it mixes up the content that there's any inside. You would then go to SIL, APU SIL 49, a Honeywell publication, and it provides you all the information you need in order to perform a soap sampling on your APU. You'll order the proper kit in accordance with that SIL, and inside that kit, you will find a sampling container to either siphon the oil out of the dipstick opening, or you can actually drain the oil from the drain port into the container. You will also receive in that soap kit a shipping container to put your removed oil filter in to send it also out for the analysis. And in that kit, you will have the replacement oil filter for your APU to reinstall once you're done. So the first thing we're going to do, if we can't get access, if we can get access to the drain port, that's fine to get your oil from that location. However, if the APU is installed in your airframe, this area can be difficult to access while the APU is installed. In our case, as you can see, the APU is not installed. So if I wanted to pull a soap sample on this APU, I would remove this drain plug. You would allow 4 to 8 ounces of oil to drain out first prior to collection. And once that 4 to 8 ounces roughly is drained out, then you provide and take your sample from the drain. You want to fill the oil up. You want to fill the container up at least 3/4 of an inch in height. And if that's the case and you have that collected, you would then cap this off. Of course, in this case, without siphoning, you would remove the siphoning tube and lock that over. However, if you do not have access to the oil drain plug, you can also, as I mentioned earlier, you can perform the soap sample by siphoning out of the oil dipstick location. You would then remove the dipstick, and inside you will find a finger screen, just a little oil finger screen. You can remove that if you need be. Just be sure to put it back in. But once that's removed, you could then insert your siphoning tube down into the oil sump, squeeze your bottle, and let the oil fill up. Again, you want this bottle to be filled up at least 3/4 of the way. Once you finish your sampling, you can remove the siphoning tube, lock the cap over, reinstall your finger screen, and then reinstall the dipstick, making sure it's locked in position. So now you have your oil sample collected. Now you want to remove your oil filter and put that in the container. And that's the case. You're going to remove these on a 150 series. Your oil filter is located up in this location, typically on the top of the gearbox. You'll remove your two 10-32-inch screws. You're going to twist slightly and pull. Once you overcome the O-ring, your oil filter is right here. You will then remove the oil filter and place it inside the tube. So now you've collected your oil sample as well as your oil filter. You will remove the oil filter from the kit that was sent, and you will reinstall it back in. The oil filter typically will have the O-ring inside. However, verify that that is on there. If not, you must replace that. Once you have your oil filter removed, you now replace it with your new filter that's in the kit. You will install that filter, making sure it's fully seated in the opening. You will want to replace the O-ring on your filter bowl. Reinstall it by pushing very hard, it's a large O-ring, you need to overcome the force on. I will remind you, do not use the mount screws to try to seat the oil filter bowl down onto the mating surface of the gearbox. Doing so could allow you to pull the inserts out of the gearbox. So make sure that filter bowl is perfectly seated by hand, and then reinstall your bolts. You want to run your bolts down using your ratchet. Do not tighten it this time. Once you run the bolts down, barely snug, you will then go to the Honeywell maintenance manual, set your torque wrench to the desired setting found in the maintenance manual, and you will continue with torquing your mount bolts for the oil filter bowl. And now your oil sample is complete. Your filter is now in the container along with your oil sample. You will then reinstall it back into your soap kit and ship it, fill out the paperwork inside and ship it to your location for analysis. Now, many people have the feeling that they need to drain the oil out of the APU. However, the SIL 49 is very clear about not draining your oil because we are doing a soap analysis, and that's a trend analysis, which is trending your first sample to the next sample to the next sample if you so need so. For example, if the laboratory finds there is metal particles in your oil sample, they may ask you to go ahead and operate the AB for an additional amount of time and resample again. And at that time you would. And then it may come back, and if it's worse, they may tell you have to do some maintenance. However, if it comes back good, they may say, okay, now it's okay to go ahead and drain your oil and continue with installing new oil. So you need to follow the information that's in SIL APU 49, as well as the laboratory's recommendations on what you do next for your soap sampling, or do you just go ahead and drain the oil and replenish it? And with that, that's all we have. Thank you for watching.